Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in the News. I'm Sheila Callaham, back from vacation, and we've got lots to catch up on. In the US, the big news is that Google settled an age discrimination claim that it ousted older men in favor of younger talent. Former cloud director Jeffrey Keplar reached an agreement with Google after the age bias claim survived Google's motion to dismiss this past November. The settlement, which remains confidential, has ended Kepler's federal and Texas age bias claims against the company. Kepler sued Google in the Texas District Court in 2022, saying that he was fired at 64 for being too old and replaced with a worker 17 years younger. Moving on, language matters. It matters in the workplace too. And that means that all employees need to be educated and willing to hold themselves and each other accountable for ensuring that discriminatory and harassing language is not tolerated. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act, otherwise known as the ADEA, has protections for those age 40 and older, and it also extends to harassment to include negative perceptions and stereotypes that might be verbalized about older workers. So, this could include, as an example, pressuring someone to transfer to a job that has less technology because of the perception that older people are less capable. Or it could be encouraging an older employee to retire because they've reached a certain age. Even suggesting that an older worker is having a senior moment is inappropriate because it's ableist and ageist. Ageism is judging someone based on how old you think they are. So, for example, he's too old to work in tech. And ableism is judging someone based on what you think their mind and body are capable of. For example, saying he's made too many mistakes, he must have dementia. And then, of course, you can be ageist and ableist. For example, at your age, there is no way you could ever retrain to be a coder. Of course, that's all bunk, right? So, age discrimination can also be part of what's called intersectional harassment. So, that's harassment based on the intersection of two or more characteristics that are protected under the ADEA and other laws that the EEOC enforces, such as the Civil Rights Act. So, for example, if a woman who is aged 40 or older is harassed based on a stereotype about older women, then this harassment is covered as both an age claim under the ADEA and a sex discrimination claim under the EEOC. So in the workplace, it could be a comment about a woman having hot flashes or even being overly emotional due to her menstrual cycle or menopause. So to understand how real this is, less than 2 weeks ago, on May 28th, Stephen Geltman filed a lawsuit in Pennsylvania accusing All City Network Inc. and BSN Live Inc. of age discrimination. His lawsuit alleges that he was terminated despite his extensive experience and successful performance in sports marketing and sales, and that he was subjected to discriminatory comments about his age from colleagues and management. He was hired in September of 2023. He had over 40 years of experience in sports marketing. And despite receiving positive feedback on his performance from management, he faced derogatory remarks related to his age from his team members and other higher ups. The complaint details several instances where Geltman's age was mocked or highlighted negatively. For example, the complaint says that management suggested he take a refresher course on technology because of his age. Colleagues referred to him as the old guy or the older guy, or they referred to him as elderly. And during sales meeting, participants made comments like, for an old guy, you're doing pretty good. So for employers who want to avoid litigation, it is the utmost importance that your employees understand that harassing and discriminatory language will not be tolerated. And in order to do that, they need to first understand, what does that mean? If you're not sure how to do that, Age Equity Alliance can help. In the UK, the push by Independent Age, Age UK, the Center for Aging Better, and the National Pensioners Convention follows a long-running campaign to place the issues impacting older people at the front and center of policy. These groups are calling for all political parties to pledge to create a commissioner for older people and aging in their election manifestos to represent the 13 million plus pensioners. The UK pension is described as the lowest in all of Europe, making their survival increasingly challenging when few opportunities exist for them to work or retrain due to ageism. A recent poll found that 3 in 4 of those aged 65 and older do not believe that society understands the issues facing the UK's older population. By 2030, 1 out of every 5 UK citizens will be 65 or older. Carol Easton, the chief executive at the Center for Aging Better, said that ageism is the most widespread form of discrimination in the UK. The Center for Aging Better wants whoever gains political power at next month's general election to increase the employment rate of those between the ages of 50 and 64 by 75% by 2030. Quote, "This is not about special treatment for olders," said Dr. Emily Andrews, Deputy Director for Work at the center. "This is about fairness in ensuring equal opportunity for older workers seeking employment." She goes on to say that in ensuring the employment of workers between 50 and 64 will not only benefit individuals, but employers and the economy and the whole country. By 2030, there will be an additional 1.2 million people between the ages of 50 and 64 in the UK, but only an additional 500,000 people between the ages of 15 and 29. Dr. Andrews emphasized that the future of UK growth and productivity over the next parliament depends on mobilizing the 50 plus workforce. Britain goes to the polls on July 4th. We'll close this episode in Asia with a reminder that suggesting one age cohort is any better or worse at work is simply unfounded and not a valid argument for change. When an older person says that older people are more capable than youngers, that's ageist. Likewise, when a younger person says that younger people are more capable than olders, that's also ageist. The latter is just what H.M. Sabir Hossain did in a recent article titled, "The World is Being Led by Senior Citizens." Hossain, an undergraduate student of international relations at the University of Chittagong in Bangladesh, wrote that, quote, "From a practical standpoint, younger generations are often better positioned to address contemporary issues and develop relevant policies," end quote. To write such a statement is not only ageist, it's incredibly arrogant. Clumping age groups together and comparing them to other age groups in an effort to say one is better than another is simply unfounded. Age is not an indication of skill nor ability. The answer boils down to individuals. It's not about groups, it's about the individual. Some younger individuals may be well honed on contemporary issues, which would, of course, involve understanding the relevant issues of today for all people across all ages. But to state, hands down, that younger people are better suited is just plain wrong. Mr. Hossain's studies in Bangladesh, where the average population is 27 and the average lifespan only 72. That's similar to for all of Asia, where the average age is 31, the average lifespan 73. Compared to Europe, for example, where the average age of a citizen is 44, very different from the age 27 that Mr. Hossain is accustomed to. People who live longer not only benefit from better health outcomes in general, but they typically have a healthier mindset about age and aging as well. Yale professor Becca Levy's research proves that a positive mindset about aging can increase the lifespan by as much as 7.5 years, and that is significant. So, Mr. Hossain, from one student of international relations to another, instead of doubting the capability of leaders whose age exceeds the average, why not celebrate it, learn from it, Maybe even begin planning what your life might look like when you're in your 80s. For if you're lucky enough to still be breathing, you will surely want to experience as much of life as there is to offer. This Week in the News is sponsored by Age Equity Alliance, a Texas-based 501c3 working globally with progressive companies to competitively attract, develop, and retain talent across the age spectrum. If your company wants to understand more about how Age Equity Alliance can support your talent sustainability goals, email sheila.callaham@ageequityalliance.org. You can follow Age Equity Alliance on LinkedIn, listen to our podcasts on Spotify, watch hundreds of short videos to inspire team conversations about age and aging at work on our YouTube channel, or visit the website at ageequityalliance.org.